link is live.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to our fourth or so, I
Fourth
think, stream of our Twitch stream. So tonight, we're going to be playing Tesla versus Edison, but with the Powering Up expansion, which is kind of more or less part of the base game. However, it kind of, I find, solidifies the game a bit more. We'll kind of talk about that at the end, but we're going to be playing with that. So if anyone who's only played with the base game might notice a couple of differences, what we're doing is we're playing with Powering Up.
So Tesla vs. Edison is a board game by Dirk Knemeyer, published by Artana Games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Stephane, the games teacher.
And I'm Tracy, the game maven.
We're part of To Die For Games, and we're also content producers for
To Die For Games. So we're on the Board Game Breakfast. We also do the crowdfunding segment as well as a couple
Dice
others.
Tower Network.
On the Dice Tower Network.
So tonight we've got Tesla versus Edison. We're looking forward to bringing this to the table again.
Mm-hmm.
The original game was more of a stock game, but then with the expansion they've added some other elements to make it less of a stock market type game. It still has stock elements, but it's no longer just that, which was one of the complaints that a lot of people had about the base game. So with the expansion, the Powering Up expansion, they've added some new elements that kind of address those concerns that players had.
Yeah. So, without further ado, basically I randomized our characters. So, luckily Tesla has come out. Sadly, I'm not playing Tesla.
We'll switch to the overhead view now, and you can see the game board and all the stuff laid out.
So, I'm playing Brush, who actually Charles F. Brush. He was an entrepreneur, apparently from Cleveland, Ohio, the Brush Electric Company.
And I'm playing Nikola Tesla.
Actually got some details on the back here. He was one of the earliest pioneers of the American electric and power industry, an innovator in arc lighting and early AC technology. He's on the AC side.
The game plays over 3 phases between the years historically from 1880 to 1896. Each of the 3 phases is divided into two rounds or 2 turns. And we'll each get to take a number of actions in each round or turn. So it plays basically over 6 rounds. And you'll see as the gameplay progresses how that works.
Mm-hmm. So you're doing a couple different things. You're claiming projects, which basically involves putting markers onto various cities on the board. You're also, of course, advancing technologies. That's the big thing in this game, advancing technologies. You're going to be engaging in propaganda because you're trying to promote your company or what you're trying to do, your type of energy, over your opponents. And you're developing your headquarters, which is something that was added with the expansion, the Powering Up expansion. That kind of allows you to get some endgame points and allows you some benefits throughout the game as well.
Now, in a 2-player game, the map where we can claim projects is limited depending on the number of players. So there's a line here, if you can see it or not. But we'll be playing in this section of the map. If you're with 2 players only, if you're playing with 3 players, you could basically add all of this. 4 players, and then 5. With the expansion, they actually add the ability to play with a 6th player as well. So the base game plays up to 5, and with the expansion, there's components for a 6th player. I do find, I've played this game at a couple of different player counts now, and I do find that 2 players isn't necessarily the best experience simply because of the auction mechanics. 2-player auctions are seldom work, but I still enjoyed the game for the theme and the overall mechanics.
Yeah.
I just find it plays better with 3, possibly 4 players.
It does. Now, to be fair, the auction isn't a mandatory part of the game in the sense of it's not every turn, it's not every action.
That's right.
It's just a portion of the gameplay. So I found, depending upon how much you really, really want something, you would still get it. But definitely in the review, we'll kind of talk about the different player counts because we have played this at different player counts, and we'll be able to see how that goes.
So we're all set up. We randomly determined start player. The game rules say to draft for start player, so the player who chooses their inventor first plays last.
Yeah.
In this case, we just randomly chose, and Tracy got Brush and will be playing first, and I got Nikola Tesla and will be playing second.
So without further ado, we're going to start the game.
So how do we take actions in the game?
So we have the possibility of taking, we have our inventor, and then we have luminaries that we can purchase throughout, we will purchase throughout the game. with the money we have, which I think is actually pretty cool. It's actually pretty hard cardstock.
It's not just paper money, it's like thick cardstock.
Yeah.
And each denomination is laid out a bit differently from a graphic arts point of view.
So you're going to have your inventor and your luminaries, and you're going to exhaust them by, some people turn them sideways. I like to turn them over, guarantee that I remember I use them. And they have different abilities here. We'll kind of go through those as we use their abilities. However, there's a few things we had to do before we actually start our actions. So one of the first things we're going to have to do is actually do our luminary.
Now this part only happens in the start of each of the 3 phases. So we're only going to get to do this 3 times throughout the game.
So here we have Fanny Farmer, Charles Batchelor with a T, and Ada Lovelace, which is a very well-known name.
So these 3 luminaries can help you take actions during the course of the game. We're going to take turns in player order, starting to bid for one of them.
Yeah.
We're each going to get to take 1 luminary in this phase.
Yes.
And Tracy will open the bids. We have to bid a minimum of $1,000.
Yeah. Now Fanny looks pretty good because she's got all the different types of abilities here. You can use her for anything. I'm actually going to bid 1,000 on Fanny.
Fanny Farmer. Okay, so yeah, she's strong with invention.
Charles Batchelor looks pretty good too. But
I'm going to up your bid to 2,000 for Fanny.
I really want her, so I'm going 3. You want her for 4?
No, 4's too rich for me. You can have her for 3,000.
It's pretty expensive for the first go, but we're going to see how that goes.
So you pay 3,000 back to the bank.
And I get Fanny Farmer. She's going to be his protege, so she's my second character.
Now Tracy won't be able to get any more luminaries this phase, which means I'm left with my choice of these 2. I do still have to spend a minimum of $1,000 to get a luminary.
But there'd be no point paying more.
I wouldn't bid more because she can't outbid me. She can't bid any further.
Hey, yes, you really do need to play it. I think you really like the theme.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, turn of the century inventors is one of my favorite things. So welcome Board Gaming Pinup. Thanks for checking in with us. We'll hope to get some more comments throughout the game. I'm going to choose Charles Batchelor. He's strong in invention. I really should know what those 4 icons are. I'll have to look them up. The language in this game is actually fairly technical. So I find I don't use a lot of the terms. Like there's propaganda, there's the dollar rating, but the technology rating, but I don't have the exact words because it's a lot of jargon I don't really know very well because I'm not kind of into that technology. But I do like the flavor text in this. For example, I'm just going to quickly read Fanny's here. After overcoming a paralytic stroke at the age of 18, Farmer became a culinary innovator who brought science to cooking and helped standardize recipes, which I appreciate very much because I love standardizing recipes, especially when it comes to baking. One thing the expansion did with this game is it added a lot of female historical figures, women historical figures, and also women of color. So Mandi, that would be something that I think you would appreciate about this game, especially from a time frame in history where, that was not the norm.
But the good thing is that they actually are, it's all historically accurate, inventors and luminaries and stuff like that. So everyone is actually an actual person, historical person. So
my luminary is Charles Batchelor, and it says Batch, I guess that was his nickname, was Edison's right-hand man, although now he's working for Nikola Tesla, so he jumped ship there.
I'm all good with that.
He was Edison's right-hand man for over 30 years. His contributions were integral to the early dominance of DC technology.
All right, so without further ado, I'm going to start doing something here, and I actually want to get going quickly on these technologies. So in order to do that, I need to have both a lightning bolt and a cogwheel. Again, I don't know the technical terms for them. I keep forgetting because there's funky jargon. A 1 and a 2. So I could really kind of go up on 2 of those. I can't go up on the bolt. So you know what? I'm going to go pretty traditional. I'm going to go with AC. So I'm going to move up 1. So what does that get me? So I need to have a strength of 1 and 1, which she does. She has a 1 and a 2. Which means she could go up higher, but I don't want to spend both my guys on a single action. So I'm going to exhaust her. Now, because she has a dollar amount here, I could also buy the patent. Which, you know what? It's not a bad idea to have the patent, because then if anyone wants to use that level of technology...
They've got to pay you money.
They've got to pay me some money. So I like getting money from people, because Well, money's good in this game.
So Tracy's moved up on the AC system. We have the competing DC system, which was Edison's system historically. The AC system historically was developed by Nikola Tesla.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, sorry.
And then we also have the bulb technology. So both competing electricity delivery solutions still required bulbs. And for the purposes of this game, we have the bulb technology as a separate track. So in order to place or claim projects, we'll need to have both a bulb tech and either AC or DC. Now we start with at least one of each, so that's good.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I want to take an action, as Tracy did earlier. She'll flip over one of her luminaries.
Yeah.
Each action requires the use of at least one luminary.
The only ones you can use 2 for is the upgrading your technology. If you upgrade your technology, you can use multiple luminaries so you can get multiple levels.
That's right. So I'm playing a slightly different game here. I'm going to use Charles Batchelor to upgrade my headquarters. And because he has 2 in the lightning bolt symbol, I can flip over the laboratory card, which will give me a benefit. And this benefit for the laboratory card is +1 cogwheel when your company takes a technology action. So whenever I move up on the technology tree, I'll be able to basically do that with a 1 cogwheel credit.
Very nice.
So I'll flip over Charles Batchelor, and he's taking the action for this turn.
All right. So I liked the very first time I played this game, I didn't claim a project early on, and then I kind of struggled to get projects from other people. So I like claiming at least a single project early enough. And the nice thing is Brush receives an additional $1,000 discount per phase when he personally claims a project, which is quite nice. So I'm only going to claim a level 1 because even though my AC is at level 2, my bulb is only at level 1, so I can't claim more than a level 1.
Now, at the start of the game, you can start anywhere within our player section.
And there are 3 ones presently.
So you can choose which one you want to use as your starting spot.
So I'm going to go with Lynn right up there in the corner. I know it might kind of force me into a bit of a corner, but we're going to do that. So there's a couple things that are involved with this. We have to take in the cost of the actual project, which is going to cost me $4,000 because it is the smallest type of city. And then I would normally have to pay a patent. Now, no one has a patent in this spot, or I have it in this spot. I'm not going to pay myself. So I don't have to pay anyone a patent. So right now it's only at $4,000.
We did forget one thing. When you moved up in the AC track, your stock price should have gone up.
That's right.
As
Thank
well.
you.
So because you claimed a patent for a level 2 tech, your stock price would go up by 2. So 13 to 14. It starts off at $12 per share, basically.
So in the 12 per share, but then the profit is different. The profit is always a little bit trickier. All right, so $4,000, no extra cost for people who have patents. I do get a discount for having this guy here, which is $1. So it cost me $3,000 because we're in phase 1, so it's 1 times 1
times the phase number.
Times the phase number, so it's $1,000. So it's going to cost me $3,000.
Pay that to the bank. Need to make some change.
Oh, we didn't put out the propaganda.
Oh yes, they should be available for actions.
So I took 2 back. I'm going to put this up here. Now that you've kind of seen it, you don't really need to see it quite as much.
We forgot to reveal the propaganda cards.
Which is fine. I'm not going to.
Near the start of this phase.
So I've paid everything I need to pay, and the nice thing is I go here. Now my stock will go up 4.
1,
plus
2,
the
3,
level
4.
of technology I used, which is 1.
Yes.
If I had used 2, then gone to it. 2 of them. Good. So, and that's my second turn.
Okay, so my second action, I'm going to use Nikola Tesla.
Go Tesla, go.
He's going to move me up on the AC track as well.
I'm a Tesla fan.
Now, he has 3 and 1.
Nice.
However, +1 when your company takes a technology action. So it actually works out to 3 and 2.
Very nice.
Which means I can go from level 1, I'll skip over level 2 and go right to level 3.
Because that's 3 and 2.
It's a total of 3 lightning and 2 cogwheel.
Which is exactly what you have. Very nice.
If I want to claim that patent, which I do.
Nope. Don't move that.
Sorry. I put another one from here. You're right. Absolutely right. I'm going to claim that patent for...
No, he doesn't have a dollar sign, so...
Correct. So
you can't claim the patent.
Oh, that's right. I can't claim the patent as him. That's right. My mistake. But I do still get that technology. Mm-hmm. I could use another action with another luminary at a later date in order to claim the patent then.
Yeah. So, now that is... The first turn tends to go fairly quickly. You only have 2 luminaries and so on and so forth. Once you get to phase 2, we'll have a 3rd luminary and then 4 by the end. But that is the end of the very first round. Mm-hmm. So now we go into bookkeeping. So the first thing that's going to happen is adjust the fame track. Now we didn't alter the fame tracks. We have the company fame track and the AC/DC fame track. This basically determines turn order. The present is what we're in now. The future is what would be coming up. So we can alter the future. And if we had moved this, which actually it would have moved up to, sorry.
Because of those.
Then what now happens is the person who has the person who's highest level here mm-hmm. will get based on per phase. So in this case, it's me. So I would get $1,000 for being highest on that. So being first player actually is beneficial. You can actually get money from it.
And your stock value goes up as well.
It does.
Just 1, correct?
Yes. Then the player with the highest level in patent gets a stock gain equal to the phase.
Which is what I just did. So that you had the highest patent. No one else holds any patents. So your stock went from 19 to 20.
But it also does for the fame track as well.
Oh, okay. Based on this?
No, based on this. Highest on the fame track.
21.
And highest on the AC/DC fame track. Yeah. Level patent specifically, yeah. Sorry. Move AC/DC 1 space towards the center.
Comes back down.
Mm-hmm. Players take cash equal to the profit of where they're sitting. So right now I'm sitting. Now my profit is 14,000. So I'm going to do this.
And mine is still down here at...
it should have... No, yeah, because you didn't.
Did I spend the money earlier?
That's a good question.
I started with 14, yes?
Yes. Everyone starts with 14,000.
And I should have... I wasn't able to claim the patent. No, I didn't have to spend anything earlier. So I only get 4,000 from the bank fee. So I'll give you 1,000 if you want to give me a 5. It's kind of thematically appropriate too, because Tesla, for all of his brilliance in inventions, he wasn't a very shrewd businessman and wasn't able to lay claim to a lot of patents, at least during his lifetime, and so. The fact that he doesn't have a dollar amount in order to claim patents kind of makes sense, right? Historically.
Yeah. So after we claim our money, then this goes down 1. So it will go down towards the center. Mm-hmm. In current fame order, now players will trade 1 share. Now, we start with just our regular share, and we cannot trade or sell this one. So
now, this isn't a regular share. This is a preferred share.
Yes.
Which means it's actually worth 4 shares. It's 4 regular shares. But we start with 1 preferred share in our own stock. Mm-hmm. And now in turn order, so Tracy first and then me.
I'm actually going to buy one of yours. Because it's absolutely worth it for me to buy one of yours.
At the low price that it is right now, absolutely.
Because even though that moves him up, sorry, I'm going to take one of these.
Now that moves me up 1 on the stock track.
It does.
Now, you didn't sell any, but you bought 1, so that's basically your turn for that.
That's correct.
I'm also going to buy 1 for 4,000, so I'll give you back 5 if you want to give me 1,000, please, and I'll take a share of my own stock, which will have it move up again.
1. Which unfortunately is now at 6,000, but it gets the money before that, so you got to.
Hey, I bought it for 4. It's already worth 6. I'm doing pretty good.
Shrewd. Then by a share of your choice, reduce or increase stock prices, which we've already done, and then we refresh. So luminaries get turned face back up. We have our first electric Christmas tree lights as one of the propagandists. And Franklin Leonard Pope and Sarah Bernhardt. So maybe we'll work on them because they adjust fame track and they'll often give you money. So it's very, very handy. So discard
We forgot the event
We
card.
forgot the event card. My apologies.
Let's see what would have happened in phase 1.
There's a lot going on in this game. We find.
Oh, it was the Electrolier. We had an auction.
Yeah, which actually would have only affected me.
So it was the invention of the electric chandelier.
Yeah, which would have been basically someone paying 1,000 to someone for a project this turn. I was the only one that would have done it. So our apologies for that. Oh, hi Holland, how are you? Welcome. So we're just gonna kind of put that one out of the game. We'll forget that. But we are going to now do this one, which is the North American bank collapse. Well, that's no good. Edison General Electric was crippled when their capital sources needed to cut back in 1884. So this means that all patents require an extra $1 this turn.
Ooh.
And that's for everyone.
Right.
So that is not good.
So claiming a patent will be more expensive.
Which is something you want to do in this game because you want to get money from other people.
Now you are still the start player.
Yes. So I think I like turning this over because this is going to be very handy. So she has basically everything. So I can use her.
So you're going to develop your laboratory?
Yeah. So I have one lightning bolt. I only need one. I'm going to turn over the laboratory. My apologies.
What is...
And the laboratory is apple pie. Apparently Brush developed apple pie. Or something like that. +2. Sorry. +2 to either lightning bolt or cog when Brush personally is involved in a technology action. My apologies. Just getting over a bit of a cold here, so. All right. So that was my first turn.
All right. My next action is going to be to... Let's see. What can I do? I wouldn't mind laying claim to a starting point. And I think Menlo Park, which strangely enough was Edison's territory.
Well, that's okay. Take it over. It's fine. He's not in the game.
You know what? I'm going to start in Albany. So Charles Batchelor is going to do this for me. He's going to claim...
Yes, it is quite a gorgeous game. It's a little bit muted in a kind of a weird way. Like there's still color, it still shows up, but it's not like overwhelming. I think thematic too with the colors. It's very, and what I love, and you were a little leery about this paper money. It's really thick, like super thick.
Yeah, it's not just paper money like Monopoly money. It's thick slices of cardboard. So
yeah,
they have substance.
They will not be wearing anytime soon.
All right, so I'm going to claim another level 1 project.
Albany.
Now, I don't have any discounts because my I used Batch in order to do that.
So
Charles Batchelor.
Money.
So he doesn't have any value for money discounts. So I'm going to pay full price. Now, full price at this point. Albany is a small town, so I'm going to pay $4,000 in dollars, and I don't have to pay any patents because
you were here.
Correct.
Versus here. Now, if you were here, you'd have to pay me money.
Exactly.
Which he doesn't have to do. So
yeah. So it's going to cost me.
Yes, glad because it was a hard game to find when we went to find this game. It was actually very hard to find.
So there's 5,000. It's going to cost me 4, so I'll need 1,000 back, please.
Here we go.
And for that, my stock value will go up by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it's reverse, but that more or less works. It's kind of a weird system. You go over, like you go up and then down and over and then up and then
1, 2,
down.
3, 4.
No, if you just look at the little arrows, it's not a big deal. Semantics. It still works out.
Oh.
You have to go up and then down, over, up, and then down, over. It's very strange.
I did. Anyway. All right. So.
There we go. So.
Next action, Tracy's second action
did you take?
is.
You got your stocks. You're good. Okay. My second action. Propaganda.
What do you want to do next? Propaganda might be good.
It would be. Now we're both on AC, but I'm the only one really with a patent. But you are the higher level, so. That will benefit you, which won't really be great. Now, if I want to get a patent, it would cost me an extra $1, but I may not want to worry about that. I'm going to actually go up in bulbs. Now, to go up in bulbs, to go to bulb level 2, I require 2 lightning bolts and 1 cogwheel. He has 2 and 2, so he can easily do that.
And does he have a dollar amount on him?
He does.
So now, you could claim the patent for bulb 2 if you wish.
It would cost me $2,000, which, you know what, is not a bad idea. The one thing I find in this game is you earn love paper money. Apparently we have to play Millennium Blades. They got paper. Do they have money in that game? I didn't know if they had money in that game. The big thing with this, where was I going? What was I talking about?
You're about
I lost my train of
decide
thought.
whether or not you're
I
going to
did.
claim the patent.
I paid the $2,000,
Okay.
so I'm going to do that
Put the
because I
cube
have to
there.
pay the extra. But money isn't as big in this game because you gain 6 points for having the most, 5 for having second most, so on and so forth. So you're only getting an extra point for having the most money. And I had a lot of more money the last time we played this, and it didn't benefit me. But you're also not quite sure what your opponents have money-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, my next action, I think I'm going to do what I did earlier and leapfrog you, but then the bulb technology this time. Because Nikola Tesla, inventor extraordinaire, is going to, has a lightning bolt value of 3, cogwheel of 1 plus 1 for my little laboratory bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 and 2, 2 and 1, 1 and 1, so that's 3 and 2, and he can basically jump the shark here in order to get...
He is very strong about getting higher up quicker, but because he's got no money and your other guy had no money, there's no...
I still can't claim the patent for the third level
we
of
get
bulbs.
patents, so it's very appropriate. Like I said, there's no alteration for 2-player in this game in the sense of there's no special requirements or there's no neutral players, so it's actually a very balanced game for 2 players. The biggest thing is in most games that have any kind of auction, you only really have an auction at the beginning of phase 1, 2, and 3. Plus, possibly some auctions for some of the event cards. So that is the big thing. Spending too much. Yeah, the duel probably takes this game and makes it much more balanced. Kind of like Seven Wonders, you can play at 2 players the base game.
I imagine it probably reduces the table surface area needed as well.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Seven Wonders duel does not.
As Tracy was saying, 2-player. Probably not my favorite player count for this because of the auction mechanics. But I still enjoy the game for the theme and the actions you can take. So.
We've played it with 4. It plays really well at 4. I would be a little concerned playing this with more because it can, even though it's only 6 phases, or 6 turns, it can actually still take a fairly bit of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was painful. Isn't it always painful when you have to drop them? We sadly dropped brass earlier today.
So I also forgot to move our phase marker out.
That's one of those semantic things.
So we're at the end of phase 1. So what do we do for the end of phase 2? So
first we still have to do the bookkeeping.
Right.
Now because I did the bulbs, this didn't move up, so it's still in neutral territory. So what will happen is highest player gains stock value equal to the phase. Now because it's in the neutral, players on both ends would get it, who is ever the highest. Again, I'm still the only one with a patent. So I will gain a stock equal to the phase, which is still phase 1, so I'll gain 1 stock. And then player with the highest level of, and then this here, players, again,
on the fame track.
Didn't change the fame track, so I will also gain a stock for that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, like I said, changing hands, it's very handy to do.
Yeah.
Then this part is probably I find the hardest part. That's just so hard to keep track of. And you need to do it in order. Then move the ACDC 1 space towards the center. It's already in the center, so there will be no issues there. Players take cash equal to their profit, so now we're doing pretty good. I'm at 14, so I'm going to cash this in and get a 10 and a 5.
And I'm up to 12,000, so
nice.
I'm going to give you. You know what? No, I'll just take 12, please, from the bank. Rather than make change to make you make change later.
Last time I actually got a $50,000 bill. It's the first time I'll ever probably have $50,000 in my
You'll
life.
Never see that ever again.
I don't think I would have seen it in that day and age either. My gosh, that's a lot of money back then. So players take cash equal to the profit. We did that. And then in card fame order, first trade 1 share. So it's a little early on for me to want to sell off the share I bought of yours. However, it's still fairly affordable for me to buy mine. So this is where it's tricky, and I found even when we play this with more players, I kind of find it a little weird.
Because you just earned 14,000.
But I'm going to be paying 14,000. Mind you, it will go up when I do that.
Right.
So it's worth it. So I'm going to basically put that 14,000 back because I still have a fair bit of money here to gain one of my own stocks. So I'm going to have a 5th stock in my own, which is going to be very handy because this is where a lot of points come at the end of the game.
And your stock price goes up from 23 to 24.
Yeah, because it's still phase 1.
And I'm going to do the same. I would like to buy a share of my own stock because I want to drive my stock price up.
You did this last time, and it really won you the game, so it's why I'm going to try to keep you from being able to buy all your own.
All right, well, we'll see if it works this time as well.
12.
So that costs 12. I will give you back this money.
The interesting thing about this is...
to the bank.
Is that... and you go up. One? You did?
I did.
The interesting thing about this is when you go up, you simply go straight up, but when your stocks drop, they go to the left. So you actually drop a whole column, no matter where you are.
Instead of going from 24 to 23, you actually go from 24 to 21.
Which is a significant drop and requires you more time to get back up there. So losing stock value is not good. So selling someone's stock can really hurt them. I tried to do that last time, but to no avail. It didn't affect Steph that badly. All right, so now we're at the end of phase 1. So a couple things are going to happen. These ones are going to go away because these were phase 1 propaganda cards. We're going to just kind of put them back in the box.
First, we will do the luminary.
So let's take this event and put it away. Now that event didn't, there's something else on those events we should mention, but it had an X, so nothing moved.
Yeah.
Now there's 2 certificates of each of ours, so 2 Tesla and 2 Brush. They are going to get shuffled randomly. I'm going to do it as randomly as I can, try not to pay attention.
I don't see anything.
Trying to make it as random as possible. And then these guys are going to come out, and each of them is going to get a stock under them. So when you buy it, you're actually going to receive the stock with it, which is kind of a nice way to get a stock. And it's a way to get someone else's stock, which is very handy.
Just a moment ago, we bought shares in our stocks that cost us 12 and 14,000 respectively. But now we're going to get one for a fairly low cost because it'll come with the luminary that we hire.
So here we have Ada Lovelace, George Westinghouse, Josephine Cochran, and Samuel Insul.
Yes. So again, Tracy is still first on the fame track.
I am.
And so she will get to bid first.
I think I'm going to go for Josephine because she's got one of your stocks, which would be very handy for me.
Josephine Cochran. She invented the first successful dishwashing machine and won the highest prize at the 1893 World's Fair.
Thank you, Josephine.
There you go, dishwashing machine.
So $1,000 on Josephine.
All right.
I figure you don't want her because she hasn't got a dollar sign. You really want a dollar sign.
I really could use a dollar sign. I am, however, going to make you pay a little bit more for her.
Of course.
So I'm going to bid $2,000 with the hopes that you're actually going to bid a little bit higher.
I'll bid a little bit higher. I will bid 3.
All right. So $3,000, you can have it for 3.
And sometimes it's just mean that way. You're just mean that way.
So sometimes it is an auction game, so we got to try and drive the prices up a little bit.
And normally I wouldn't say what I'm doing, but we're kind of trying to explain, of course, so he wouldn't necessarily know I really want her. By the way, I would turn these back over.
And you got a stock share of my company, in fact, Tesla's company.
I do, which is actually a good thing because then it'll keep you from having a runaway leader of your own stock.
Now, when you get that stock share, the stock price, the corresponding stock price does not go up.
No.
You don't get that bonus.
No.
Now, as Tracy mentioned, I'm looking for someone who has some dollar sign. Dollar signs give you credits when you're spending money for patents, to pay for patents or placing discounts for claiming projects. So, and I have none on the 2 that I already have.
Couldn't we all? We all?
We definitely could use a few more dollar signs.
Especially a few of these 50,000s over here.
So I'm going to go for Samuel Insul. It will give me a share in Brush, which I might sell off later.
Keep it. It'll get you some good points because I'll be higher up.
I will have to pay a minimum of 1,000, so I'll give that to the bank.
I have a little story. Once my grandfather, back in the day in the 80s, when they had made $1,000 bills, he used to get paid in cash for construction work, and he had a $1,000 bill. It was kind of cool to look at. I was a little bit awed by it. I was like 6.
It's a lot of money when you're 6.
It's a lot of money. So these ones are going to go away. They're going to stay like that. So those stocks are going to stay with them.
And we'll see them again at the start of phase 3.
So these are going to come out now. Phase 2 propaganda. So we have whoever cries first loses, Mark Twain, and the death of Ulysses Grant. So again, basically these increase or decrease the various fame tracks, and then it will give you money as well. So it's a really handy way of getting a lot of money if you're kind of low.
And the event card.
Now the event card, it's kind of nice. It's going to move us up.
Yay.
That happens at the end. So Gerlach Hotel. Oh, we had this one before. Auction. You may refresh your inventor after using them later this turn, thus getting another action later in the turn. Immediately discard this event card after doing so. I got this last time and it was very, very handy. So because I'm first, I get to I have to bid at least 1,000. I'm debating.
That's a really
money
useful
right now.
ability.
I kind of spent a lot of money
doing other things.
I'm gonna start with an auction bid of 2,000.
I will say 3,000 because that's a really useful ability to take another action. Actions are very limited. You only get one action per luminary, so.
4,000 is a lot though, so I think I'm gonna let you have it for 4,000 because that will leave me with. Sorry, 3,000.
There's 3.
Yeah, 4 is a bit rich.
All right, so
I
get this ability temporarily. I'll just leave it here, and it'll go away at the end of the round.
And we will move up 1.
So it says, as Tesla's profile grew, all the cards have flavor text on this, which I like reading because it'll extend our Twitch session a little bit longer if I read some more flavor text. But also because you learn a few things you didn't know about history, right? So,
it's true.
As Tesla's profile grew, he moved into the Gerlach Hotel, which featured the most modern electrical conveniences.
His fame grew, but his money didn't. Now,
this little symbol at the bottom of the card is an arrow up, which means both of our stocks, everyone's stocks, will go up by 1. And I'll be able to use this action later, so which means I'll be able to refresh Nikola Tesla and use him to take 2 different actions this turn.
Yes. Yeah, specifically inventor versus luminaries. Yeah. This is your inventor versus your luminaries.
You are still the start player.
I am still the start player. I think I'm actually going to do some propaganda.
I was thinking that myself, but you beat me to it.
So she has 1 propaganda. You really only need 1.
The propaganda symbol is the megahorn.
Yeah, so I don't know if any of them have more. Actually, he does have 2, which I wonder what that would be useful for. Why would you want to have 2?
Moving up 2 spaces on the tracks.
That's true. So this one would allow me to move 1 up one of these tracks.
Either the personal company fame track or the AC/DC fame track.
That's right. Because I'm already in first place, it doesn't make any sense. So I'm actually going to bring this up, even though it's going to help you as well. I'm hoping it'll help me later on in the turn.
Sure.
And I can pick one of these cards. Now, this card will also allow me to adjust a track. I'm going to take this one because it's the most money, and I kind of need some money. So I can move specifically the AC/DC track. So I could also normally move this one up, but this one specifically is only AC/DC. Now I'm going to have thunderstruck in my head. 1. And I'm going to want to move it that way because I am that way. Unfortunately, we're both fighting for the same
you could
system.
Choose to neutralize it and go back to the middle, but
but it seems a little bit silly. So I do get 7,000 because of this card. Harold P. Brown publicly challenged George Westinghouse to a sadistic contest. I don't know if I want to.
Did your luminary have any money credits? $signs?
Fortunately, no.
Okay. Otherwise, I think you get that bonus times the phase as well.
Yeah, I don't have any. Don't have any $signs in her. That's why I kind of used her for that.
All right.
Sorry, I took him away. My apologies. In the base game, you actually take them out of the game when you use them. With the powering up expansion, you just turn them over. So once they're all
exhausted,
they'll get turned over, or they'll get turned over at the end of the phase.
At the end of the phase, yeah. All right. So Samuel Insull is going to make me go and do some stuff. What do I want to do with him? I think I'm going to use him to. He's going to give me a credit on claiming a project. So I'm going to do that now. Do I have enough to claim a project is the question. I do. It's going to leave me pretty broke, but I'm going to get some money afterwards. Okay, so the way this works, Samuel has a dollar value of 2, which means he will get 2 times the phase number. In this case, we're into phase 2, so 2 times 2 is $4,000 in credit towards claiming a project.
Nice.
Now, the project I want to claim is Rochester, which is a medium-sized city.
Yeah, and it is adjacent, so there's no...
Its cost is normally $8,000. It's adjacent to my other city, so I don't have to pay a regional reputation bonus.
That's right.
Or penalty.
Specifically.
And because he gives me a $4,000 credit instead of $8,000, I will only have to pay 4. So I'll give you 5. I'll get $1,000 back from the bank.
Pretty nice for a second-sized space.
Yeah.
Now,
my stock value is going to go up.
You are on 3 on both, which is really, really nice. Yes, your stock value is going to go up 5.
Which is this number here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And suddenly I've caught up to Tracy's stock value.
All right. So I think I want to...
I'll flip him over to indicate that he's been used this turn.
My headquarters, I've got a good one here. It's not immediately set your fame marker to +1 on the future fame track. That's not very handy. Mind you, gain points for having the most developed. So having 1, 2, 3, or 4 developed will give you different amount of points at the end of the game. So having the developed is good, but I got a little bit of time here. So I am also going to... I can only really claim up a project level of 2, which means I'd have to pay a regional... So that's okay. I think it's worth it for me to do that to kind of jump over to...
In this case, it's a regional reputation penalty of 2,000.
Yeah, because it's phase 2 and it's only 1 away. So we're going to go there. That is still only one of the smaller towns. So I'm going to
So
pay
that would be
4,000.
4 plus 2 is 6.
That's right. Now, she does have $1 sign. So
Which means 1 times 2. So from 6, you subtract 2, you end up paying 4,000.
So the regional penalty gets negated basically by her benefit.
Yep.
So I'm going to pay $4,000. And because I'm not having to pay anyone patents, because I'm the one who has patents at those 2 levels, or at the highest level that I'm at, is actually how it works. And that's where the tricky part is.
So your stock value is going to go up by 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes. And that is my second turn. What are you going to do? We were talking about some propaganda there. It would help get you kind of...
Thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about it. In fact, Nikola Tesla is going to take an action to initiate propaganda. Now, he has a propaganda value of 2 on his card.
So he could move either up 2 by himself.
Sorry, I moved the next...
The future one
the
for
future
next
one,
turn.
not the current phase. And then he's going to engage Mark Twain. And Mark Twain allows me to move a fame marker up to 2 and get 6,000 in money. So I'll take 6,000 from the bank, please. All right. And AC will go up to the top.
Which is going to be good for you.
Now, I may refresh my inventor after first using them this turn. So, as this is the first time I've used Nikola Tesla, I'm going to put him back. Mm-hmm. And this card can now go to the discard pile because it's been resolved.
That works. Now, there's something else on this track we didn't really mention, and it's what happens is when it's on one end versus the other at the end of the turns. The other stock, anyone who's got stock in the other one, the highest stock would go down. But because we're kind of fighting for both AC, it's a little bit different than other games we've played where one of us played...
You need to put your cube
Oh,
there.
yeah. Jeez. I should probably do that because, for example, I get a certain number of points for having, if I develop that particular thing. So, my last guy...
Our stock should both have gone up by 2. Because when you place that one, your stock would go up by 2 for
That's correct.
that bonus.
I thought you had done that already. So.
I had not.
Yeah. Oh, right. There's a lot of things to remember, a whole lot of stock and phases, and so...
These are reversed. I don't know how I got them backwards.
Oh.
My apologies.
I was going to say, I'm ahead of you.
You are ahead of me.
It's all good. There's a lot of... I find the trickiest game... The mechanics are not hard. The actual base actions are not hard. It is tricky with all the whole... times the game phase and plus the technologies and minus and pluses. So there's a lot of that which is a very steep learning curve. So I actually consider this a higher rated game despite the fact that the general mechanics are easy. But having to remember all that stuff, I still have to refer to things because it's like trying to remember it all.
I would say I would categorize it on the high end of medium, on the border of medium-high strategy game. So from a complexity point of view. So
I think I'm going to advance the technology. I have a guy here that's 2/2, so he can jump me. He can't jump me all the way, so he could jump me to where you are. Mind you, you don't have a patent there, so it's not a bad thing. I could get the patent there, which would be very handy. Yes, I'm going to do that. So Charles is going to. Now I should have used him to claim the project, but that's okay because he would have given me an additional discount. But that is okay. So I get +2 to either lightning bolt or cogwheel. Again, I can't remember the names of them. When Brush is personally involved in a technology action, which he is, so I have to debate. I don't think I can get higher than 1 anyway with him. Actually, he's 2/2. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to get... Darn, that's too bad. Yep, I can't get higher either way I look at it. So I am simply going to just go up 1 on the AC track. So I'm going to go up here.
Here?
And
I don't hold a patent, so...
You don't, so I don't have to pay any penalty, but I am going to take that patent.
Thought you might.
It's worth it for $1,000. Patents are handy. Getting basically, it basically gets you up to stock, so you really want to get those patents, because...
All right, Charles Batchelor is going to move me up on the bulb track. So I needed 2 and 2, and he had 2 and 2, so he's going to get to move up on the bulb track.
All right, now I only had 3 guys, and because you got to refresh your last guy, you have a 4th.
So my final action with Nikola Tesla is to go up. He's 3 and 1 plus 1 for the laboratory. So he's going to allow me to go up to this space, basically AC System 4, which allow me to start claiming projects that have a 4 project value.
It's very nice. Very nice.
I still don't have any patents in either one.
You don't?
Because the one guy I have that has the dollar signs, I used him for something else. So I'm still not holding any patents yet, which means I'm not getting any residual income. But
and your stock's not going up because of it.
And my stock's not going up because of it.
Yeah.
This is actually following roughly what happened in history with Nikola Tesla, you know.
All right. So, you're all done your turn. So now we're on to bookkeeping phase. It sounds bland, but it's actually got a lot of stuff going on. So the highest player, actually we adjust this accordingly. So you are now first. So the player who is highest will get a stock gain equal to phase 1, 2, or 3. We're in phase 2, so you will get stock increase of 2. Then the player with the highest level patent in the leading technology, which because this is over on AC side, who has the highest patent, I have the highest patent, so I will go up 2. Then we will move the track towards the center, 1 down. So normally if we're playing opposite sides, it would maybe seesaw. Last time we played seesaw, we're playing on the same technology. So it's a little bit different, so it's interesting. Then we're going to take cash equal to our profit, so I will get $22,000.
And I get 20,000. Can I get 2 5s and a 10, please?
All right.
Now, in turn order, and I'm first this time, I can decide whether or not I want to trade a stock in. And you know what? I'm going to trade Brush.
Oh, you are you?
Brush in for Tesla.
Well,
so what happens
not very
now?
Nice.
Here's what happens. I'm selling essentially a brush stock, which gets me 22,000. Brush stock will go down, but it won't go down by 1. It'll go down to the left. So basically, it drops from 33 to 29 in stock value. But I will get 22,000. Now I'm trading it for a Tesla stock,
which is presently 20,000.
So that means I get $2,000 back from the bank.
You do, and my stock drops because he's now lost confidence in my stuff, so he's selling my stock basically.
It's called speculation, I think. 2,000.
However,
now Tracy has the option to do the same thing.
I do. However, I am not going to do that. I'm going to buy yours.
Oh. See how the tables turn.
Trade these in for 5, just so I have it, because I have a lot of ones. And where did my 20,000 go? So I basically spend that 20,000 I just got. And I am going to buy one of yours, which it moves yours up 2. Moves your stock up 2 because of the phase. However, I'm going to get some points for both of these sets of stock. So you had a monopoly on yours the last time we played this. Hopefully this might balance that out, because that really got you in the lead with the win last time.
It did. Yeah, your stock shares are what gets you most of your points at the end of the game. So you have to be, you have to be kind of aggressive with the buying and selling of the stock shares. All right. So now we are at the end of anything else to do in the bookkeeping phase?
No. So we flip over our luminaries and our inventors. Now, because it's phase...
Still phase 2, we're into fourth round, so the second round of phase 2.
Discard the event card. It doesn't matter. You discarded it already.
We still have a new event card that comes out.
Advance the turn track. It's done. And then we'll do this. So, Daniel Burnham, the famous architect, was integral to the awarding of the 1893 World's Fair to the city of Chicago, which is another brilliant board game.
1893 World's Fair. It's been referenced a couple of times in this game already.
Yes, so. Great game. So I like it. I know it didn't purposefully reference that game, but it's kind of cool that they're similar era. So players receive half the stock gain rounded up when claiming projects this turn.
Ooh, so instead of 4, 5, or 6, we'll get 2,
Correct.
3, or 3.
Although, again, it's good. It's not forced us to go to the left. We go up 1.
All of our stock values go up by 1.
It's kind of nice. So you are now first player. So you will actually get to
take the first action.
This game's actually moving a lot faster than our game last night of this. So we actually took us some. Mind you, too, again, because it was fairly new to us the times before that we played it, there's a lot of the whole... And we may actually still be missing, to be honest, a small detail here and there. Because it's a game I think you have to play at least 4 or 5 times just to really get comfortable. Kind of like with Race for the Galaxy. It's one of those games that this one's got more jargon than iconography, but it's really a lot going on. So it's a lot to think about.
So for my first action, I would like to, let's see, I have 4 technology in both bulb and AC. So I could start claiming 4 projects.
You can.
However, the penalty here, or this, receive half the stock gain. So this round might not be the best time to do that because you're not going to advance the stock as much. I think I'm going to focus my attention elsewhere this time around. And I'm going to use Samuel Insull to expand my headquarters and flip over the office card.
Nice. Yeah.
This office, Jacob H. Skiff, plus $2 when your company takes a technology action.
Nice.
So you get money when you advance the tech.
Go, Jacob.
I guess you get to sell the new tech to prospectors or whatever. So. All right. Mine aren't quite as good. I do like this one though for my end game. Which, you know what, I'm going to do that because we're halfway through the game. I'm going to turn this over because she's got a cogwheel. Okay. I can develop the work, which is the cogwheel one. Mm-hmm. So this is Euclid and East 37th Avenue. Very fancy looking house. Plus 5 victory points if you hold at least one level 1, 2, 3, and 4 projects. So I'm only halfway there, so I'm going to have to get moving on that. Brush's Mansion on Millionaires Row in Cleveland was his headquarters during the War of Currents. I don't actually know as much about the War of Currents. Like, I know the general stuff. I'd really like to learn a little bit more about the War of Currents. I probably wouldn't understand a lot of the technical stuff, but I know the general idea behind it. But I don't know a lot of the smaller, like the characters that aren't like Tesla and Edison. It's a very interesting point in history because it's the dawn of the electrical age.
Mm-hmm. Which is how we're coming to you now.
Exactly. We wouldn't be here doing this right now if it hadn't have been for these historical figures.
Yes.
All right. So now I would like to do something completely different. I'm going to turn over Charles Batchelor, who has 2 lightning bolts and 2 cogwheels. He's going to allow me to move up on the bulb track. But again, I still can't lay claim to any patents.
Oh, that's very silly. All right.
But I do have level 5 bulb technology.
Level 5 bulb technology is pretty good. I need to get myself up there in order to be able to make this work for me. So I'm also going to go... Now I could exhaust... It's too bad this is plus 2 to either or. It would be so great if it could jump me 2.
2 is a big increase though, but yeah.
2 is a big increase. You know what? It might almost be worth it for me to use both of my guys.
You could do that. It would be one less action for you this turn, but
yeah.
Advancing the technology tree is the only action you can take where you can use multiple luminaries together and their numbers add together to allow you to move further up the track.
Mm-hmm. So no, I'm only going to use Fanny here. So Fanny's got a 1 and a 2. Now I only need a 1 and a 1 to go up to bulb 3. So I'm going to move up to bulb 3.
Do you want to lay claim to that, Pat?
Because she's got a dollar sign. She does have a dollar sign. I can lay claim to that patent. I think all my guys do except for her, but I haven't been using her for that, so that's good. I am going to lay claim to that patent because I have the dollar.
Costs you $1.
Actually, I think we were doing
Costs
that
you
one.
1,000.
Oh, does it? That's right.
There you go.
I thought you only needed to have it. No, that's right. You do need to pay it. So many what you need to pay, what you don't need to pay, what you just need to have. Oh, this is a bit of a brain melt game.
You don't get something for nothing.
What are you talking about?
All right. So my next action, Nikola Tesla. He has 3 lightning bolt and a cogwheel. However, he gets +1 cogwheel when he takes a technology action. Oh, I took a technology action last time, so I should have gotten 2,000 from the bank.
Yes, you should have. That's okay. It's not that long ago, so it's not a big deal. I'll give you 2,000 right there.
And I'll take another 2,000 because Nikola Tesla is going to do this all by himself. Can I get another 2,000 from the bank, please?
Look at you.
Raking in the dough. Show me the money.
That's a 3-1. That's very powerful.
Yeah, he's 3-1 by himself.
Very nice.
Although his ability...
Tesla's company ignores lightning requirements when advancing technologies unless he was previously exhausted this turn. Which, on the last turn when you
he wasn't.
You would have had to
yes.
do it then, but that's fine.
So I'm now at level 5 on both the AC and the bulb tracks, which is going to be great because you know what I'm going to do next turn.
What are you talking about?
I'm going to do something next turn.
Sure you are.
Probably.
So with that, now I'm at level 3. I am sadly not next to a level 3 city, which again means I'm going to suffer some regional penalties. And that's okay. That is okay. See, moving into that corner was a little bit not so great for me. So I'm going to claim a project in, where is this, New York City?
New York City needs a level 3, yeah.
Now, it's only one city away from either of these.
It is one hop away from either
costs
location.
So, because it is the biggest, it's going to cost me 12,000.
Yeah. Plus your regional reputation penalty of 2,000 because we're in phase 2.
Now, he does have a
and
single
it's
dollar.
one hop away.
He does have a single dollar.
So he'll get a 2,000 credits. So he'll negate the regional penalty, and you'll basically only pay the 12K.
Now, I will also get, because he specifically, when claiming a project personally, I get an additional $1,000 discount. So I'm actually only paying 11,000.
11,000, nice.
So he is very helpful for that. So problem is, I'm very poor now. Unlike the last game where I had like $70,000 at the end, I'm like poor. But hopefully it'll be worth it for me. So that means I'm going to go up 6
on the stock track.
6
So
on the stock track.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Which is a nice little jump for me. I like that.
It's a good jump for sure. All right, so we've now finished all of our actions in round 4, phase 2, and we're back to bookkeeping.
So highest player on the fame track, which is still you. That didn't adjust. Excuse me.
Gets gets 2.
You receive half the stock gain, by the way. Rounded up.
So you're at 1, 2, 3.
Sorry, just realize that.
So my stock will go up. My stock will go up 2 because we're in phase 2.
Yeah.
Because I'm highest on the fame track.
It doesn't affect this stuff.
Okay.
Player with the highest level patent in the leading technologies. And again,
still
in my
you.
case, still me. So I go up
1, 2.
And then we'll move the AC down 1. In current fame order, we can choose to. Oh no, we get our money first. So I will get 24. We
haven't been increasing the stock value for that as well when we claim projects.
It's interesting. The first time we learned this game, we didn't do that, so it's a little bit harder for us to remember that because the first time you learn something, you kind of learn it. So if you learn it with certain things, because you play it differently, it's kind of weird.
Our stock is a little undervalued right now. It's not really going to affect the flow of the game, but it will affect our final scores.
Given that we're both on the same side,
yes.
If the fact that he was on DC and I was on AC,
it'll be less of an impact.
It'll be less of an impact because we both would have been going up the same.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things that I have to remember to do because that I forget because we didn't play that the very first time we played this. So
that's right.
It's tricky.
All right.
Sorry. So we get 24,000.
You get 24,000. I get 22,000.
And there's your 22.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, do I want to spend that money to have bought mine or sell yours and buy mine?
That would be up to you.
It would be up to me.
Now, if you sell mine, you're going to drive my stock down by value of 4.
Now, this is where I find it doesn't matter so much. So this matters much more with more players. The reason why is the difference between the stock of one person, it's 6 points per stock versus 5 points versus 4, 3. If you are driving someone down that was really high and you were really low, that balance would be
and if
really
multiple
important.
players sold that same stock,
that's right,
then they would go down quite a fair jump.
Yeah.
So it's easy for multiple players to quote unquote gang up on one player who might be in the lead, sack the leader.
Yeah. So in a 2-player game, I don't find it affects things as much. So I'm actually not going to buy anything right now because I think I'm in a pretty good spot.
I'm flush for cash right now, actually. So I think I know. I say that now. I'll be complaining about it later. I think I am actually going to buy. You gave me my money, so I'm going to give it right back to you, and I'm going to go with my strategy from last time and just keep buying my own stock.
Actually, sorry. Does this happen when you move up it?
No, you get that bonus when you claim a project.
That's right. Which
in addition to the project one, you get that bonus.
If you're using that technology, that's
so
right.
There's 22,000 back because I'm still at 22,000.
We can start doing that now. So again, we apologize for some minor errors. It's nothing that breaks the game. It's just things that we didn't learn, and as we were reading the rule book. It's a melty game.
So my stock value will go up by 2 because we're in phase 2.
Yeah.
And I will take a stock in Tesla, and look at that.
It's actually the last stock, so you won't be able to buy any more.
Won't be able to get any more, but now I've got 8 shares in Tesla stock.
This time I got 3 of yours, which last time I think I only had 1 of yours. So hopefully this might be a good thing.
I may start buying some brush stock.
Buy my stock. Buy my stock.
All right. Anything else to do in the bookkeeping phase?
Nope, because I'm not going to trade or buy. So, yep, these are going to get flipped over.
Now that was the end of phase 4.
Now,
so these cards are going away.
They are.
Our 2 luminaries are going to
advance the track.
Yeah, our 2 luminaries are going to come
so
back out.
So we're going to get our 4th one. Now there is another stock for each of us there. It just so happened to work out that we bought the other stock last time. I may or may not want to buy mine.
I am the start player, so I'll get to choose first.
And this is where I can't decide what I want to do, whether I'm going to outbid you. Depends on what you decide to bid for.
I'm going to bid for George Westinghouse, and I'm going to bid $2,000 as an opening bid.
It's interesting. I thought you'd go for the other one, but that's interesting. You know what? I'm going to let you have that for $2,000 because I actually want your stock more than I need the person.
All right. So George comes to me. I get a share of Brush Tech.
1,000 for.
There's 2,000 to the bank for me getting George Westinghouse.
And our stocks don't go up again because we got those.
Principled and driven, Westinghouse leveraged wealth from his air brake invention to become a major player in the War of Currents.
Matt Lovelace was a mathematician who collaborated on the first programmable computer and wrote the first algorithm. Go Ada. Her name might be Ada. But
there was a lot of unsung women heroes in early technology at the turn of the century that just didn't get a lot of press at the time.
No.
And we're only really, hearing about it kind of now. So.
Now Ada is one of the Ada Lovelace, I think is her name.
Yeah.
Is one of the few names that I actually do know, like Josephine Cochrane. Even C.J. Walker, who's one of the main characters. She's a fantastic character. She was the first African American lady to be the first African American lady to be a millionaire, and I didn't know anything about her. I don't know anything about Josephine Cochrane or even Fanny Farmer. So there's a lot of these names I don't know, and I really should. So it's kind of cool. It's piquing my interest to learn all that stuff. So this is phase 3. So these propagandas are going to come out. The first of a race of robots, far worse than hanging. It's the electric chair. And H.G. Wells.
H.G. Wells, the popular science fiction author.
Well, we're voting well, and I'm going to show you how many of these cards we get at the end of the game during the review. There's quite a few, so normally it doesn't always go up. Sometimes it will go left. Last night, it went left quite a bit, so this time it goes up again. So the auction. You may immediately advance one of your technology markers to a patented space, which
Now, did we determine that I have to bid for this as a start player?
So it does say, so the way the rules describe it, and I would love to hear if anyone else thinks anything differently or if it's been interpreted differently. It says, as with the luminaries, like you do with the luminaries, you have to do the auction similar. Specifically with the luminaries, the starting player has to start with a bid of 1,000. So I think this might be one of those negations where you get a benefit for going up, but you're also forced to bid for that auction even if you don't want to.
Normally I might want to immediately advance one of my technology markers to any patented space, but I've already dedicated myself to AC and bulb, which I'm already at maximum. And going to a patented space on the DC track, there are no patented spaces on the DC track. So if I'm forced to spend $1,000 for no benefit, it's kind of a bit of a detriment to me.
So I would love to know clarification. I might look it up on the forum. It's something I didn't think of until now.
Yeah.
Because with the luminaries, you want those, so you have to bid 1,000 at least, even if you don't want that one, hoping someone else might outbid you. I'm not too sure about this, so any clarification anyone has would be fantastic, because it'd be good to know.
As a start player, I'm going to go by the letter of the rules and say that I have to bid at least 1,000. Now, Tracy doesn't really have any benefit to outbidding me because, again, there's no patents on the tracks ahead of her. So she's probably going to let me have that for 1,000.
Yes, I'm going to let you have it for 1,000, sadly.
Which was just a waste of money. But
basically, just put it there for now, though, so we know it's out. So yeah, that would be really good to clarify, because I don't know if they thought of that or whatever. Maybe no one wants it because it's not effective. In a larger player game, you'll probably find almost every event with regards to auctions, someone will want it. In a 2-player game or even maybe a 3-player game, probably not as much. So,
having resolved that event card,
we then we've advanced the turn track already. That's good. All right, so you are first player, so you will still get to go first.
I do believe I would like to claim a project, and because I have 5 technology level in both AC systems and bulbs, I can go to a 5 spot here. So and that's Grand Barrington. And the stock increases times 2.
Because it says so on the board. It's really tiny text, but some of these spots are times 2 stocks, which is really nice.
Now, it's going to cost me 4,000.
Yeah, it's only a small little place, but...
however, I could use George Westinghouse to give myself a credit on that. And because we're into the 3rd phase...
$3,000 discount, which means you're only paying 1,000.
And my stock's going to go up by 4 times 2 is 8.
It's kind of nice. That's really smart, actually.
In addition, because I'm using AC and the stock is +1, so my stock's going to go up by 4 times 2 is 8, +1 is 9. Yeah. I did look, and the times 2 multiplier is applied before the fame track bonus.
And we're applying this now. Again, this is something we are ourselves starting to learn after playing this a couple times without the proper rules.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
That's a commanding lead.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Now, there's one way you could get around that.
Well, I do have a plan.
You could sell off some of my shares and drive the stock down.
I could, which might happen. We'll see. But that doesn't happen until the end of the turn. So I, however, am going to move up because I do need level 4 technologies to do what I need to do. So I'm going to... I need a 1 and a 2. So Fanny Farmer here has a 1 and a 2, which will be very handy to move my AC system up to the next spot, which is a 1 and a 2. She also has a $, so I can buy that patent, which, you know what? It's totally worth it for me.
That gets you...
I spend 1,000. Don't take 1,000, Tracy. Jeez, I swear, I'm not cheating.
That drives your stock price up by 4, which is the level of the technology of the patent you acquired.
Correct. Which is why you might want to buy the patent, even though competition-wise, like with regards to where you are, you're never going to be able to buy those patents. But it's worth it for me because it jumps my stock price up. So buy those patents.
It closes that gap.
Closes the gap for sure. That's my turn. Yes.
Well, I can't let that slip past, so I'm going to do something about it. Charles Batchelor is going to develop the works at my headquarters. So George Westinghouse, George Westinghouse's estate in Homestead, Pennsylvania, was the center of AC innovation. So this gets me +5 victory points at the end of the game if I hold the level 5 project, which I already claimed.
You do.
So I've just guaranteed myself 5 additional victory points for endgame.
Interesting. All right. So, should I do that? Should I do that? Or should I do that? Or should I do that? He's better for claiming a project. So I'm going to use him to claim a project. So I'm actually going to spend both of these girls. Because she's got a 2 and a 1, but I need a 2 and a 2 to move up to level 4 bulb. So I need to spend both of these characters, even though it's a bit more. And because she doesn't have the $sign, but she does. No, neither of them have a $sign. Ooh. No, I still want to do it because I need him to claim a project.
So are you doing it or not?
I'm just debating which. No, you know what? I'm going to use him to do it. It's not going to make a discount here, but it's going to get me
you the patent, which gets you 4 more stock value.
Well, I have to pay $1.
Yeah, it costs you $1, and I'll take your patent cube.
Yeah, he would be better for a project
1, 2,
for discount,
3,
but
4. I've moved up your stock value 4.
Nice.
Good.
All right, that is my turn. Yeah, it wasn't worth it for me to use 2 of my luminaries for that.
I understand.
It is now your turn. Yeah.
I am going to use Samuel Insull to lay claim to Boston.
Boston.
Claim the project in Boston. So Boston is a level 4 project. I'm going with level 5, so that's fine. Now it is 1 removed from my current location, so I do have a reputation region penalty
3,000
of 3,000 because it's 1 hop away, and it's a phase number times the number of hops. So 3,000 in this case. Boston is a large city, so cost 12 plus the reputation penalty is 3,000, so 15. However, Samuel Insull gets me 2 credit per phase, so 2 times 3 is 6. So 15 minus 6 is 9. I'm going to end up spending 9,000 to claim that. And here's 10, so I'll get 1,000 back from the bank.
Yes.
And that will send my stock price up 6, plus again 1 for AC being the leading
implementing that
on
now.
The fame track. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So as you remember, we weren't implementing that before because it was one of those new things. Oh, we're implementing it now, so it's good. So,
and sorry, I flip him over because he's taking his action.
So 6 of one, half dozen the other. I want to get up there, but I can't get up there. So I'm going to use her to claim a project. I'm going to claim a level 4 project because I'm now at level 4 on each of those, so I can. And I'm also adjacent to one, so there's no penalty. That is the largest of the cities, so it's going to be $12,000. She doesn't have a dollar value, so there is no discount, unfortunately. And I don't have to pay a patent because I'm really the only one with patents at my level, so that's fine. So it's simply going to cost me $12,000. I do not have a lot of money this game. That's not bad. 15,000 isn't much to scoff at, but I had quite a bit last turn. So I'm going to go here into Brooklyn. So that is 6 plus 1. I move up 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Nice. All right, your turn.
That'd be 2 away, so that'd be 6. It's a lot of money.
Put this over here just so it's clear that it's that one versus the other one.
It's a lot of money.
All that money. Oh, my apologies.
What?
No, it is. Sorry, I got a little confused because I thought this wasn't adjacent to that. It is. It's just
no, it is.
Because it's got two.
Yeah, New York's big enough that it needs 2 projects.
Apparently, makes sense. Same with Philadelphia.
As is Philadelphia and Chicago.
Yeah, I find the most interesting thing, and this is something that really affected your strategy last time, was this line here determines 2 versus 3 player. 3 player can play into here. But these 2 cities, even though they normally would be connected, aren't because it crosses over that line. So it actually breaks the connection. Which
Scranton, in a 2-player game, Scranton is only connected to Rochester. And so you have to go around the long way to get there.
You do. So
it can be a little tricky. So I think I'm going to claim another project. So Nikola Tesla, who doesn't have a dollar or credit, I will learn the terminology for those 4 aspects of the characters.
And the funny thing is, the rulebook doesn't actually really talk about it. It talks about it. I think
it gives you the symbols everywhere for them. So
yeah, it just gives you the symbols. Yeah. I think at the very beginning it talks about it at the very beginning of the rules around setup.
So sorry, I'm going to claim the other project in New York City. So New York City is a large city. Normally costs $12,000. I am not adjacent, however, to New York City. Yep, I'm in fact 2 hops away. So that's going to cost me $18,000. And because Nikola Tesla doesn't have any credits for finances, I'm basically going to spend $18,000 to make that claim. But
that's a hefty claim.
It is, however, going to drive my stock up again, 6,000 by basically 6 levels plus 1, so 7. So 18,000, and I do believe I still have that here somewhere.
If you don't have the money, you can't do it.
I do. It's going to leave me pretty broke, but also historically accurate. Tesla didn't have a lot of money when he died. Just saying. Or at least so we believe. So now my stock value is going to go up.
Sadly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Interesting. All right, so I do have one more turn. I'm actually going to do some propaganda here.
Propagandizing?
Propagandizing. I think I'm going to do far worse than hanging.
You're developing the electric chair.
So William Kemmler's execution was bungled and ghoulish, hurting the credibility of those who campaigned for electrocution. Well, there's, it's accurate to the times, but some of these were kind of... So she does have a propaganda. She's got 1 herself, which I'm going to use that to move me up. And I'm going to use that one because it specifically says AC/DC. I'm actually moving it down.
2 or 1?
No, it actually hurts me. So move it up 2. Sorry, I just realized that actually hurts me. I'm the one with the patents. That's where it gets tricky. When the last time we played this, we played on opposite sides, so we're kind of helping each other, and I'm trying to find a way to sneak past you. I'm having a difficult time. It also got me $10,000.
I could have gone off book with Tesla and had him develop DC.
To be fair, my guy was.
I wanted to keep him, accurate to the storyline. So.
And he was AC as well. Again, I could have went DC. Yeah. The very first time I played this, I played Edison, and great character. No, teasing.
All right. Bookkeeping.
All right. So adjust the fame track. So that happens. So I get 3 stock for that.
1, 2, 3.
I'm also highest patent on the technology. That
gets you
over here. So again, another 3 because we're in phase 3.
1, 2, 3.
This is where I shine a bit. Then we move the AC1 space down, and we will get the money for our shares.
So you get 36, and I get 38. I will give you 2. You can give me 40. I'll take it in 2 5s.
Now the biggest problem with
10 and 2 5s for that.
Sorry,
place?
my apologies.
That's okay.
I was just thinking of my strategy because realizing that I move myself there, if I want to do something that I wanted to do, it means you could snag it after, which might not be smart because I could sell yours now drop you down, but then you probably just buy it, trade mine, or not even trade mine, just buy it. So you know what? I am not going to do that. I'm basically going to give that $30,000 back, $36,000 back to get
buy one of your own.
Yeah. This I find a little strange, but sometimes with more players, you'll buy different people's depending upon what's happening. I'm going to buy one of mine. And that will move me up phases, right?
Three. Yeah.
Now we're at the same. Yay.
Now, I'm in an interesting position. I have a share of brush that I could sell.
And drop me down.
But there's no more shares of Tesla left.
No, so you can't trade. It's a trade. It's not really a sell. You're selling one.
I can't trade brush for Tesla.
That's right.
Now, I could just outright buy another share of brush, which will still get me some points.
But now it's going to cost you
38,000.
Basically what you
and it'll drive your stock up a little higher as well.
It will. So, leaves you in a sticky situation.
And you know what? I wasn't left with a lot of money at the end of that last turn, so I think I'm not going to do any stock trades this time around.
Fair enough. Not going to help a fellow inventor out?
Not this time.
So these get turned over.
This goes out of the game.
And we are entering our final turn.
So this moves up. We're in the last round of the game.
Yeah. Now the interesting thing is after turn 6, during the bookkeeping phase, our stock things don't adjust. So that is interesting. It will adjust throughout the game.
At the end of this round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. So if you had wanted to make me drop, now would have been the time, because it won't happen next turn. All right. So event first. Sorry. So Panic of 1893. Players only receive half of their profits this turn. So this is the first time we're getting a left, and we're getting 2 lefts.
Ouch. So we go down all the way from 60 to 49.
Now the interesting thing is, because we happen to be on the bottom, the way it works.
Sure.
But you see the chart. It kind of, some of the spots are uneven.
If we had been at the top and we go over 1 left, and now we go to the next left, but there's no spot there, so we actually drop down an additional one. So we would actually end up here.
Yeah.
But we were.
We're at 38. We're at 38,000.
38. Yeah. So we're actually here. We're going to go down.
So that's a perfect example of when people can drop down and it hurts. But we're even, so it doesn't really make that big of a difference. Oh, those panics, I swear. All right, so I'm first player now. So I'm going to want to reduce your ability to expand too much here. So I cannot go to a 5 yet. There isn't actually even another 5 in this area, so that won't really matter. So moving up that high won't matter. So I am, I think I'm going to do this one here, which is actually very handy for me. So I'm going to use the $1 on her. You may ignore the primary effects of any future event cards. This does not prevent the stock adjustment. So
I don't know about the real Charles Brush from history, but in Tracy's revisionist history, Charles was very forward-thinking because he has three
female luminaries.
3 women luminaries.
It actually just happened to work out that way.
His protege, Fanny Farmer, his administrator, Josephine Cochran, and his assistant, Ada Lovelace.
Yes. I wonder, was he that?
I honestly don't
actually know much.
He was
about
entrepreneurial, apparently.
Yeah, I actually don't. I know his name. It's a very familiar name, but I could honestly not tell you enough about him to. So I just turned over John Jacob Astor IV. Excuse me. I may ignore any primary effects of any future event cards. This does not prevent the stock adjustment. The most famous victim of the Titanic disaster, Astor was an important investor. So he was on the Titanic.
All right, then. I guess we know where he's going to end up in 20 years or so.
Yes.
So my action, I think my first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to secure myself 4 additional victory points by developing my studio. And I'll use George Westinghouse to do that. So my studio is the American Institute of Electrical Engineers. After taking a propaganda action, if using a propaganda card to advance the track towards a C, receive an additional $2,000 per phase.
Nice.
The AIEE issued prestigious awards to the top minds in the War of Currents.
Now, some of these I tend to find play better early in the game, some don't. This one's interesting. It's just an immediate moving up to the top of the future fame track. Not so great, but it will jump me again also from 6 to 4, 6 to 10 points. So, however, I'm going to debate here. I'm going to build. Claim a project, sorry, I guess is the official term. So I'm actually going to go into Newark, which is adjacent to technically two cities that I'm in.
Yeah.
And the other one, Rochester.
So you're
or
good.
Brooklyn, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a level 3. I'm level 3. Again, I have the patent, so I won't have to pay anyone for those. So I'm going to have to pay $8,000. No regional reputation, no patent issues. I'm going to use him because he gives me a discount of $1 plus an additional $1,000 discount. So he's actually going to cost me $6,000, which is good because I don't have a lot of money here. So I get 10 and 4. And then I will get 5 plus 2 is 7, please.
Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look at you go up the stocks. And that was Newark, yes?
Yes.
Place a cube there, please.
Now, in case, I keep forgetting that. Jeez, claim your cities, Tracy. Claim your cities. Interesting thing is because we're working on opposite sides. If someone had a DC stock, the person who's got the highest, they would actually lose stock value when I go up. So that's very interesting when you have people playing opposite ends of the system. Which if we've been playing that last night, when we were playing opposite ends of the system, that might have really affected things.
Sure, absolutely. I'm going to go into Providence, apparently. So I'm going to claim a project in Providence.
Providence, Rhode
Island.
Oh, yep. Where?
Far coast.
Oh, okay, there it is, yeah.
Between us there. And I am adjacent to it, so I don't pay any regional reputation penalties. I'm going to use Charles Batchelor to do that. And so he will get that. I'll put a cube there. And as a medium city, it's going to cost me 8,000. Give you 10 if I can get 2 back, please. And as a medium city, it's going to go up 5 plus 2 is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll come join you back up there.
I could do that. That would be interesting. I wonder if that would be sense. So I'm gonna do something. Might be
unorthodox.
Might not be good, but we're gonna see how this goes.
Excuse me.
Because I think I know what you're gonna do with your last couple turns, and it actually will really matter. So I'm gonna turn this over. She's got a 1-1. Now she doesn't have the $1, so I won't be able to claim the patent. But I'm gonna move up on the bulb level. Now you don't have the patent, so I don't have to pay anything for that. There's a reason I was doing that. That doesn't move this.
Nope.
Because it's bulb. Oh, I'm gonna go DC.
It wouldn't move it anyway. That only moves with the propaganda actions.
That's true. Oh, what was I thinking?
I'll undo that for now. Go ahead and rethink your rethink. That's okay.
I was trying to move it down, and there's a reason I was trying to move it down.
If I could get in your head and tell you what the reason was, I would. But
who did I just use for? No, I didn't use anyone for propaganda. No, I did. I used her. Sorry, my apologies. I'm actually not gonna do that. I'm actually gonna do the propaganda, and I'm going to move it down 2. I'm gonna use H.G. Wells here. The science fiction writer marveled upon seeing the Niagara Project. I'm going to get 9,000 for that. Now, she had a propaganda of her own, so she's actually going to move it down 1 more.
Now we're into DC territory.
I'm actually just going to pay 1 and get a 10. It's easier that way.
Sure.
Yeah, might seem strange. I have something that may work, given what I think he's trying to do with his turns. That is what I want to do.
I am going to use Nikola Tesla. Take a propaganda action to undo all the work you just did. He's going to move that up. He's going to take this card, which allows me to move that up one more.
Which is fine, because it forces you to use them for that instead of
And
building.
I get 9,000 from the bank. Here's 1. Can I get 10, please?
So that may have been in vain, but I think using one of his guys instead of 2 of his guys.
It did cost me an action to do that, so that did make me use up an action.
And my final action of the game, is it going to really affect you? I could go there. Did you not? No, you didn't. You went there. Either way, you're going to be able to go to one of those 2 spots, so it won't really affect things so much. So, I'm going to go over to... You're both level 2, so it won't matter.
This one's level 1.
No, I was
Level
thinking
2,
this one I
level
could
2.
jump. But this one only requires a single jump for me.
Yep.
So I'm going to use that one.
Mm-hmm.
Does that get me more points? Yes, because I have a feeling you're going to build. And I want to make sure I'm even with you, if nothing else. So I'm going to turn it over. She has no dollar discount.
Sorry, can I rethink one thing that I just did?
Mm-hmm.
I turned over...
You turn over this one. That was the only one.
That's going to come down.
Which, by the way, they would actually all turn it back over. You're going to do that for him? Excuse me.
Well, he had 2 from that, so this was
So
down
he moved
here.
it up 2, and then this moved it.
Yeah.
Moved that one.
Move that one.
Which
Sorry.
will matter. Yeah. Actually, by the way, these get turned over once they all
Yes.
are exhausted.
So they're all available again, technically, for the last action.
They are.
If
No,
propaganda makes more sense to you.
No, I think we're gonna do this. I think I think it's a lost cause. I think you're still gonna edge me out of this game, but we'll see. So I'm gonna build in Montreal. And I'm gonna explain something in the review too, which actually will matter, because I'm wondering if, and it'd be nice to hear from the designers if the thought, but remind me about talking about level of patent versus level of city. So I'm gonna do this one. It's gonna cost me 8,000. It is 1 city away, so it's gonna cost me another 3 for 11.
Does the person taking the action have any dollar credits?
No. And I don't have to pay my patent because I've got those, so I'm going to pay 11,000.
10 and 1.
However, I'm still on DC, so I will get 5 plus 1 is 6.
On AC.
AC, my apologies.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. And my final action of the game is to lay claim to Scranton, which is a small town.
It is. It's a tiny town.
I was born in a small town.
It's going to cost you 4.
Spend my life in a small town. So 4, I'm adjacent to it, so there's no regional reputation penalty. And he, however, Samuel Insel, has a 2 credits, so it's actually going to credit me 6, but I don't think I get money back. I don't think I can build something for free.
No, I don't believe you get money back. That's actually a good clarification. That's never probably happened. So that would be good to know.
It hasn't happened to me.
Because you don't usually build the smaller cities later in the game.
Exactly. So I will. I'm going to assume that I basically get to build it for free.
You get to build it for free. I just don't think you get.
It's a small city, so my stock value is actually going to go up by 4 plus 1 is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm ahead by 1. That's going to matter. We're going to see. We're going to see. All right. So that was all of the turns.
Final bookkeeping phase. Now there's a couple of things we skipped during this phase.
Not skip, but when we buy shares specifically, this doesn't
They don't
happen.
get devalued.
But this stuff will still affect stuff. So you will get 3. This adjusts because of the fame track.
1, 2, 3.
because I have the most patents, and we're still in AC. I will also get 3.
1, 2, 3.
Move the AC1 towards the middle. It's not really gonna matter. Then each player will take their cash profit.
$38,000.
Basically, I'm going to take that, but I'm going to buy.
You're going to buy a share and brush?
You would buy first. So there's enough there, but are you going to do anything? Because I'm just not going to take the money because I'm just going to be paying it back.
Does the value go up during this phase if we buy a share, or does it stay as it is? It neither goes up nor down.
No, that's correct.
However, it will be worth points. So let's see. I have 2 shares in brush. I have 8 in Tesla. You know what? Yeah, I'll buy a share in brush.
So basically, because we're both at 38K, we get 38K, but we're also going to buy a 38K value.
Yeah.
And that doesn't move me up, which is this is a very lucrative time to buy that. I think the very first time we played this too, we did move them up, and that would have really affected things. Maybe not. I can't remember. It's been a while since the first time we played this. And that is everything. So, sorry. Got a little bit of a foot cramp. Ow. Ouch. Sacky-doo. So, first we have to count, and this I do want to get the rules that make sure we don't miss anything. So, normally I wouldn't bring the rules out, but I do want to for the end game scoring, because it will matter. And this is actually really handy. So, this is another thing we're going to discuss, the player aid, and it's not very handy. This player aid, much handier. Now, it's a full page, but it explains so much more. This is almost completely useless for the actions. This, however, not.
And also, didn't they not include enough for all the players?
There are 3. There should be 5.
With the expansion, plays up to 6. So, yeah.
All right. So, interesting. Just that giving the player the most valuable stock portfolio wins, but it's kind of weird how they do it, which I think is actually in the powering up thing, which is very strange.
Yeah, because the bookkeeping phase is all covered in here.
Yeah.
Which this is part of, basically.
Which I think is very strange, because if you don't have this, again, we're going to discuss this.
Well, the bookkeeping phase is described in there, but they've changed it for...
But there's no in-game conditions discussed in here,
okay.
So it's interesting. And it would be interesting to learn that. So, final scoring. So, first we'll score for stock share. So, the highest stock share, which is, in this case, mine is higher on the thing, they'll be worth 6 points each. And Stephane's will be worth 5 points each. So there's not a big difference between the two, but given how many he has versus how many I have. So this one's 4, 5, 6, 7. So
times 6 is 42.
42. And then 20 is 62.
You're at 62. I have 12. 2 times 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Times 5 is 40, and 12 is 52. So you're at 62?
Wow.
And I'm at 52.
I thought you might add anything out there. So that's interesting. So, now the player with the most money, I think will probably be you. Didn't check, but I have 17,000.
I have a little bit more than that. I have 42,000. So yes,
so
I get 6.
6 points, and I will get 5 points. Again, that's one of the things that doesn't really... Huge difference.
Most money, I mean, even a wide margin in money doesn't only gets you 1 additional point. So.
Yeah. So 62 and 6 is 68.
And I'm at 52, and 5 is 57.
So this is where you're going to come up a little bit more. I only have 6 of my HQs developed, so I will get 3 of them.
If you get 6
I'll
points.
get 6 points. So
74.
74, thank you.
And I was at 57. 57 and 10 gets me 67.
So 72 to 67, so it's pretty close. And then points for work cards. Players add any additional points for the developed work cards. Each inventor's work card is unique. So that's this one. I believe I managed a 1, a 2, a 3. Oh, did I manage the 4? I did. Oof. So I get an additional 5 points for that. So 77.
And I get an additional 5 points if I hold a level 5 project. And I did grab this level 5 project of Great Barrington in the middle here. So that gets me an additional 5 points for 72. I think I'm 5 points behind you.
You are.
Anything else?
77, 72. Nope.
that's it for scoring.
That is it.
So Tracy edges me out with 5 points. Now
That's surprising. I actually thought you were going to take me on that one. We
did play the first few rounds with a couple of deficiencies. Where,
to be fair, I think that might have actually been in my favor because I had 3 patents.
If anything, we were equally affected, or it might have benefited her anyway. So
not by much, but we were pretty equally affected. Yeah, there's a couple things we forgot to do a little early on in those first couple turns.
So 77 to 72, and let's go back to our review screen. So that's it for Tesla versus Edison powering up.
Yes. So my review of this game. Overall, I definitely like this game. The theme is very strong. For people who like any kind of the X games, this does have a bit of that 4X feel because of the whole stock. It's
18XX.
But it's a 4X.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that rating, so
yeah.
Forgive me.
Sure.
I believe a 4X is basically a lighter version
expansion
of an 18X.
Well,
right?
no, 4X is expansion. It's basically for like civilization or expansion games.
Okay, so this is a very light 18X then. It does have that stock market. This is the most where most of the money comes from and where you have to play. Because if you are not moving your stock up, you're not going to get the points at the end of the game, and it really matters. And of course, you can hinder people by selling their stock off, like trading it for your own, or even trading it for someone else's, bring them up. But if they're behind you, then it doesn't actually really affect you as much. So that's where one of the things where this game does benefit more from more players. With 2 players, I find that even with the other game we played where we were 2 players, we were very close there. Now you had considerably more stocks in yours, so you actually won by a fairly larger margin last night.
Because of my stock, my stock control of my own company stock.
Yeah, I think you're only, because with 2 players, even 3 players, even if you're just 1 person ahead or you're 5 spaces ahead, it's a 6 versus 5 point per share thing. So it doesn't matter the distance; it just matters where you are in rating of first, second, third, so on and so forth. So that is interesting. I find that particularly interesting. The mechanic I like the most is especially this planning this. Now with 2 players, we played this last night. You and I were doing opposite systems, AC versus DC.
You were on AC and I was on DC. Yeah. I was developing DC.
Which is interesting.
I played Edison.
You did play Edison, so you played it thematic again. Yeah. This one we played on the same one, so we weren't hindering each other as much. But also, this one we didn't know about until last night, so we didn't know that this would affect each other as much. So if I had played on the other end, or Steph had played on the other end, I might have affected him more, going negatives, losing stock when someone else gained stock. So that really affects things with a larger player count. So I'd love to see how that works, because the first time we played this, we didn't use that.
Yeah.
And it would have been nice to see what that does.
So far, I've found that it's still been a fairly close game when we've played 2 players.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a wide margin between us points-wise at the end of the game. Even if our stock prices were far, like if my stock price was, or Tracy's stock price was very high and I was low, her stock shares are still only worth 6 points each.
Exactly.
And mine are still worth 5 points each, even though there's this big gap between us in actual stock share value.
So one thing I want to make a note of, and this is something I'd love to hear from the designers, why they thought this, and maybe I'm also interpreting the rules wrong, so we might have been playing all this time wrong, but I've gone over those rules again and again and again. I want to show you. So when you claim a project here in this on the map, if you're claiming a level 2 project, let's just, and because we're both using the same system, it doesn't matter. You'd have to say whether you're using AC versus DC, because it will matter. However, so for example, Steph didn't have any patents, so he never had to pay a patent penalty because he was always ahead of me, but still had no patents. And so I find it interesting that at a level 2, you use the highest patent level that you've gained, versus I personally think a balancing out would be that if you're building a level 2 city versus a level 3 city,
you would have to pay the level 2 patent value
versus level 3. Doesn't matter how far you are.
Holds the patents.
Going further means you can build in the bigger cities, but and then you can get the higher patents if you have the ability. But I think once you're up there, like there's no balancing feature.
Well,
so
not directly, but never claiming patents means my stock doesn't go up.
But you still manage to make your stock go up pretty much
by
more or less
claiming
evenly.
by claiming lots of projects.
Yeah. So
right?
I guess there is that strategy difference between the two. Now I claimed 6 projects.
Mm-hmm.
So I still claimed quite a few.
And
so
I claimed 7. I claimed one more than you.
But I claimed 6 patents.
Sure.
Only, moves things up 1 each, but you think it would be
it moves it up based on the technology level. So you would have moved up 2, 4, 10, 18 basically value in stock.
Which is interesting. You have 2, 4, 6. You only have one more than me here. So I'm wondering if maybe we missed some things there.
It's entirely possible something was missed during the
because I got 2 bigger cities and stuff like that. This game has a lot going on. I'm just curious about that. Again, because it's only a 1 point per share difference, it's not a big deal, but that can matter. I'm just curious as to if that would actually affect the gameplay if you had to pay the penalty to the person at the level of the city versus the level you're at. So I'm wondering how that would play things out. And I might be willing to just try that as a house rule to see how it would affect things in a gameplay, just to see if it actually breaks anything or improves anything at all.
Thematically, I really love this game. Like I said, this period of history is one of my favorite times. Mm-hmm. It's, the Industrial Revolution, the dawn of the electrical age. All of this new technology is becoming publicly available to the masses for the first time really in history. I really love the characters involved. I really love the idea of the inventors and the competition between Edison and Tesla for the different competing systems. And we know that all of our homes are powered by alternating current AC systems now. Batteries or DC systems, so they still have their place in the modern world depending on what the needs are. So to see where this all kind of began and to learn a little bit of the snippets of history and all the flavor text of all the cards is really quite interesting to me. So.
Now the diversity, like you said, the diversity of more women luminaries and inventors, different races as well, like having Caucasian and African American. It was really good to see that because that actually did exist at that time. And it's good that a game is actually trying to bring some of that hidden history out. And it's got some of the more gruesome history of electrocution, other things that came with electricity, the negative side effects. There is one card in here that makes me very sad. It's Dash. It's the dog that, I can't remember which inventor electrocuted him for science, of course. But it's very sad because you see him and you're like, oh, poor Dash. But one thing I mentioned I wanted to show you guys, and this is something, like I said, I think that makes all the difference in the world for
replayability.
So all the cards seem to be trying to find them here.
Just pull it closer.
So for example, and this is with all the cards. This is with the propaganda, the events, the luminaries. I'm just bringing out the events here, for example. But they have another 2, 4, 5 phase 3, 5 phase 2, 5 phase 1. That's in the case of all of them. So what you do is you shuffle them up and you take a certain number out based on the number of players. So obviously with more players, you'll see the same cards over and over again. But with less players, you're going to get much more variety of these cards. So propaganda maybe not so much, but events can really change things. The luminaries, there's a large variety of what the luminaries offer. So that really does matter. I was also wondering if they played with it, and they've already got a lot going on. But I was wondering if they had, maybe played with these guys having a special ability as well. That might have been a little too much, so it would have been a lot, because there's already a lot you have to think about. We've played this a few times now, and there's still things we're like, oh, we gotta remember that we didn't do that. Let's go back and do that, because we didn't do it, and it does affect things, and so on and so forth. So,
not that this is an excuse, but we did learn it the first time, incorrectly.
It was late at night.
It was
late
in
a pub.
We were
it was
in
loud.
So we've had to kind of tweak our initial conception of the game a little bit after rereading the rules a few times and playing it through a few more times. But I still love this game. I want to bring it to the table more regularly. I think, like I said, it does work better with higher player counts. I would say hold out and play it with 3 or more players whenever possible.
Now the Kickstarter for the Duel, which is kind of like with Seven Wonders, they had a Seven Wonders which plays 2 players but not great with 2 players, and then they brought out a Seven Wonders Duel. This is similar. I think what they're doing is this game plays okay with too.
Tesla versus Edison Duel, which is
Duel,
a card-based game of the similar theme and mechanics.
Yeah.
Now it's on Kickstarter now, I believe.
Now, yeah, basically.
Probably for the next few days. I'm not sure exactly when the Kickstarter campaign ends, so go check it out. Tesla versus Edison Duel.
Yep. One other quick thing I want to mention is we haven't played this with the original game, and our friend Jordan said he's played this before he got the power-up expansion, and apparently apparently powering up really fixed some broken things. So I'd like to actually try this at some point without the powering up. I like this because it adds some cool features.
It adds some more flexibility.
It also takes away a certain thing that can really be more of that take that, which is the stock market, where you can actually take this as an action to purchase these.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how that plays. It'd be really interesting to try that. I'd like to see that, and then I might make a comment on this video. The difference between the two strategies and how you would play this versus the powering up. I personally like the powering up, but I'm going to check it out and see what it looks like on the other end.
All right, so that's it for us. Thank you again for those who tuned in or those who will be watching this after the fact. And please, we did do this playthrough. Admittedly, there was a few discrepancies at the start. Please do feel free to, correct us if you notice anything wrong.
Or if you notice if you have answers to any of our questions.
We do like to try and play the games properly. So.
But when you learn this many games, you'll forget a few things.
For sure. So thank you again for tuning in. I'm Stephane, the Games Teacher, signing off.
And I'm Tracy, the Gaming Maven. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.